Awesome. Welcome back to the most amazing gaming channel in the world, guys. I had to bring Giannis because I got it in a stupid box. I'm trying to get the Jaguar and the fucking Merc Tron skin. Anyways, today we are going to be going over, well, the starter items because there's only a couple, and then we're going to start going over the first half of the magical power. Just kind of the next in the guide. So to start off here, Soulstone. This is going to be good for someone. Now, keep in mind, I do not mid. Like, I am a horrible mid laner. But I could definitely see Soulstone being picked up by someone like a Giannis. It gives you some pretty decent magic power, the mana and everything else. But it gives you an extra 60 magic power when you actually deal it, which would kind of help for your lane clear and things like that. So Soulstone isn't bad. I would say on some mid laners, I know if you get Soulstone and Vampiric Shroud, you'll never have to back. Like, you will never have to back as long as you're smart with your mana. Like, you're gonna it's ridiculous the sustain that she'll have at that point. So yeah, Soulstone does really good, I would say, for some. Most of the time it's gonna be your mid laners that grab this, but yeah, mid laners. Vampiric Shroud, this is going to be for some. I've seen some ADCs grab this, depending on who they are. It's just going to depend on the actual god itself. Like, this could potentially be Anubis, because it does have that extra 60 magic power and everything like that. Vampiric Shroud, this is going to be more for, well, your mid laners as well. Your mid laners will definitely benefit from this. Some warriors in the solo lane would definitely benefit from these as well. In the Vampiric Shroud, just because it gives you that good magic power, health, mana per 5 seconds. And when you kill an enemy, it restores 10 as well. So these are going to be more for your mages, though. And sometimes, if you want to double dip, someone like a Shange. So going into the power now, we already talked about this, so let's move on to the Traveler Shoes. Now, this is the one I talked about a couple videos ago, talking about this is like the Teleria boots. I really like building this on Guardians that do not have a movement. So Athena has a movement, Jeb obviously has a movement, but someone like a Sylvanas and a Mir, people like that, it's actually very, very helpful. And even sometimes I'll still pick these up because it really helps your movement to actually get over and gank and rotate and things like that. Reinforced shoes, this might have actually been in the other one. I feel like it was a different name, but this is still the same thing, the CC reduction. So we already kind of touched on that. Get this basically if you're a support or if you're a guardian or a warrior in solo lane and you're just keep getting screwed, but most of the time you even wouldn't want that because warriors can't. Shoes of Focus is going to be for some of your mages that you want cooldown reduction on. Otherwise, that's basically all you're going to want with this. Some guardians I build this on, like I said, it's kind of situational. Athena is kind of one of those that sometimes I do pick up Shoes of Focus because it does give you everything else. And just the cooldown reduction is what I build as. So most of the time, cooldown mages, some guardians. Shoes of Magi, this is going to be, well, I'd hope that you'd never build a guardian with this unless you're playing Kabrakan, because he honestly keeps getting by without a nerf. His one is ridiculous with Poly and Soul. But anyways, we got Shoes of the Magi. This is also going to be for your, well, other mages that do a lot of damage. Dynasty Plate Helm, this is a good almost starter item because it gives you quite a bit of the physical and magical protection and the magic power. If you would get this, I would say potentially some mages, just because it is a very cheap but pretty decent power boost. But if you look at it, that's just 45, this is 40, and your passive on Doom Orb would be so much better for only 300 gold. So most of the time this would probably be a guardian item, just because it does give you the protection, the physical protection and such. Divine Ruin, this is an anti-counter or anti-heal counter item. It does give you the pretty decent power, gives you magical lifesteal and mana. Guardians that this is, or gods that this is going to be good on will be someone like possibly a Sylvanas that has DOT damage, a Xing Chen, a potential new Wa. Building Divine Ruin and Gem of Iso is actually not a bad decent build there with Nuwa. But this is going to be an anti-heal item. So only pick this up if they do have some sort of healing. Doom Orb, this is going to be a good passive item. This is going to be want to be picked up by mages. Some Guardians like Amir can benefit from this as well if you are going to be solo or mid laning Amir. Lotus Crown, this is going to be good if you have some sort of a heal AoE. So the Sylvanas is an example of this. Afro, Hell, people like that. This is when you're going to actually benefit from that. Otherwise, it's not too incredibly good because it's only any god affected by your ability heals. So if you have an Afro on your team and you pick this up as a Giannis, it's going to be useless because you will have no ability heals that heals you. So just keep that in mind. It is gods affected by your ability heals. Obshard is basically Titan's Bane. This is, you gain some pretty decent magic power, and you gain that 33% magic pen as well. This is going to be kind of good for mages. It just kind of helps you get through towers, gets through armor that's being built against you, things like that. Teleconjuring, that's going to be built on attack speed mages. So Chronos, Soul, Freya. Yeah, Chronos, Soul, and Freya are probably the top three that everyone knows about. You can also build this on a Sylvanas if you are soloing Sylvanas, just because he already has an AoE, and then when you add even more AoE, it's not, or not, yeah, when you add that extra, it does really good for lane clearing. And gives you some good attack speed and everything like that. I'm just going to go down to Demonic here just because it is easier. They usually pair very well together, Telkhines and Demonic. Just gives you some more attack speed there. You can reduce, this is basically Executioner. They stack 4 times, they last for 3 seconds, and it reduces your target's magic pen or magic protection by 8% for a maximum of 32. So essentially if they have 300... roughly 300, you hit them 4 times, they're now going to be down to 200. It's not bad. And then if you pair that up with Obsidian Shard or i.e. Titan's Bane, if you're more with the physical, this is going to shred through, well, 33% of that. So you can essentially bypass 60% with those 2 items. Just to throw that out there. It's pretty fucking good when paired together. But Teleconjuring as well because it will also deal an additional 35 magic damage. Now, Spear of the Magus, this is a shit item. It's not good since they did nerf it. They did buff it a little bit. I think it used to only be 2 stacks, possibly. But even then, if you look at the other ones, I mean, are you really going to spend, an extra 100 when, you get 70 magic power here. This is 40. The only thing that this kind of does is reduce their magic protection by 10 for 5 seconds. I shouldn't say it's a complete shit item, but I really do not like it since the, nerf that it had. It's just not that great anymore. The magic power is not like subpar. The magic pen is decent, but it's not that amazing. But it can reduce your target's magic protection by 30. But if you think about it, that's only 30. If they have 280, which some tanks will, possibly even 300, depending if they activate Shell or they get anything else, like a Lotus Crown proc, you're going to be sitting at, what, good job for taking away 10%, like 30 to, or 300 to 270. It's just not that great of an item. And then if you even, negate 15 of that, it's just not that great of an item. I would much rather prefer Obshard over Spear of the Magus. And now the last ones that we will talk about, because otherwise we'll only have a few more here. We have Celestial Legion Helm. Now this is going to be quite helpful for people that are building crits. It gives you a really good magic power. It gives you really good physical protection. To get 70 physical protection, that's better than almost some defensive items. Basically, if you look at the passive, when you get crit hit, it prevents you of that basic attack that hits you. You basically absorb it. It acts like Athena's absorb. During those, or after that, you gain 3 seconds of additional magic power, making this a 100 magic power item with 70 physical protections. This is very good, especially if you're going up against like someone like a Mercury that everyone knows hits like a fucking truck. So that is going to give you the really good physical protection, give you potentially 100 magic power, and it can happen every more than once every 6 seconds. Which, yes, if you're in a team fight, understand that's, it's not nothing amazing. However, if you're not in a team fight, every 6 seconds, that is not bad at all. Especially if it prevents you from that crit strike, that can literally save your life. So this is definitely an underrated item, I feel, but it really is a situational. This is almost what I would counter in a counter item, anti-crit, so to say. Especially if you're going to be body blocking, that one crit could save you, especially because crits are hit hard. So yeah, there is that one. Keep in mind, I would say definitely most likely built on Guardians, but some mages could also benefit from this because it does give you that protections that mid laners will need, and it also gives you that 60 magic power with the chance of getting 100. So it's definitely not a bad item, especially for only 2,300 gold. I've seen much worse. Then going on to the other 2,300 gold item is Nomicon. This is going to be also for your attack speed people. I love building it on Chronos. I've seen some people build it on Raijin. Kabrakan we talked about earlier. It does amazing. Soul is an example of this as well. Basically, after using an ability, your next basic attack within 8 seconds deals 75% of your magic power as additional magic damage. This can happen once every 3 seconds. Now, this essentially acts like Hydra's Lament. Not too bad, but it scales a hell of a lot more. It gives you lifesteal as well and everything else. This is if you think about this late game is ridiculous. Just to build this right here, not even with full stacks, just to kind of show you guys the chance of that, is at 666. But for fuck's sake, let's take off Chronos and we will build on Nomicon, because I actually want to do a build with it. It gives you 677. You take 75% of that. That's roughly what, an extra almost 300. Roughly, just for convenience sake, let's just say 275. That is a ton of power just to throw on just to your next basic. That is crazy, especially just to show you guys. So they'd go on in, they proc Soul Reaver for 403. Then that's 421 that it would use on Poly. It's ridiculous, especially if you do it smart. You can pick up Frenzy as well by activating Frenzy right beforehand. It does last for 10 seconds. Very good item there. 10 seconds is a long time in fighting, but you can use that. So you use Frenzy, and we just saw there. We can use that. He lands 488. It scales off that because it just put your magic power quite high there. But anyways, Nomicon is very good for that reason. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you haven't already, go follow the Twitch and Twitter down below. And till the next time, have yourself a fucking amazing life.